it's me again, Rio Trinitron, and on today's video I've got a little treat for you guys, because I am a biologist, and I would really like to show you some cool things, because I get to interact with a bunch of cool animals, and I get to do stuff with animals, and also human stuff as well, but I most like the animal stuff. Oh, pardon me. But anyways, these bones here, they're from the desert. Technically speaking, you're not allowed to take bones from a national park at all. It's pretty bad. But technically speaking, the field trip I went on was within a special zone, which is called. Okay, I'm not gonna say it actually, but it's within a special zone where, technically speaking, it was run by the university within a national park. So yeah, legally, I'm in the clear. I expected a guy, and he said, you want some? And I was like, hell yeah, brother. I would love some. But, anyways, all these bones I'll get to in a second, but, okay, this is my second take. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but, I'm gonna do some, trivia about, animals and, people as well, because I've done a bit of both, and, some other interesting stuff. But, anyways, to start us off, I'll give you a quick fun fact about whales. Whales have this very cool thing with between their species, right? Because there's gang violence and stuff like that, where it's one species hates the other a lot. Killer whales, right? They're hated by pilot whales and humpbacks because they terrorize them and stuff like that. So what they do is, right, the pilot whales and humpbacks, they try to help out whatever the killer whale is trying to hunt. Let's say there's a little seal swimming in the ocean, and then there's an iceberg, and it climbs onto the iceberg, and there's killer whales circling around it, and then the pilot whales or whatever, because they have hundreds of them in a single pod. They come in to help the seal escape, and then just to bully them out of a pure spite. They don't like the seals or anything, but it's just they just hate killer whales that much. But it's really cool. But yeah, this is the university I go to, by the way. It's very nice, and yeah, it's people really underestimate how intelligent animals really are. For example, ants, right? They have practiced slavery, food storage, medicine, chemical warfare, and all that kind of stuff. They have wars between other nests and stuff. And there's multiple queens in some species, and there's farming in others. The leaf cutter ants, what they do is they go up the trees and they cut the leaves, right? And they have a little fungus inside their nest where they put the stuff inside, and it's really cool because the fungus gives them food. And it's bro, you could just eat the leaf, right? I guess it just processes it for the ant, right? They can't eat the leaf itself, I'm guessing, but yeah. Besides that though, wait 1 second. Besides that though, there's chimps do the same thing as well. They have wars between other tribes and stuff like that, and it's very interesting stuff. But okay, I'll mix it up now. I'll give you the first skull. Okay, wait. Two of them got kind of damaged, right? This one, I can fix it no issue, because I have an art thing planned for this one. But if I'll give you 5 seconds to guess what this is. Also a little tip on how to tell an animal apart. Oh, the piece fell off. 1 second. Oh, it's stuck. Okay, the way to tell these animals apart is by their teeth, because the carnivores usually have 4 front grabbing teeth here, and a canine, right? And then they have 3 molars. But the thing is, the molars are kind of specialized to crush bones, and then cats and I know there's some other species, right? They're V-shaped. Yeah, it's more like a W actually. It's kind of whales ever meet. But I like to think about that a lot. Also, more about killer whales, right? They've been like noticed to like never hunt humans or like injure them intentionally in the wild, in the parks and such. Like I kind of get it. Like they kind of like just bored out of their mind and like kind of forced to be there. So that's why they go a bit berserk. But like, yeah. But yeah, killer whales in the wild, they don't hunt humans at all. We don't know why exactly. Maybe it's because they don't like eating us, or maybe there is like they know that we're dangerous because those things can communicate with one another. They're like talking to each other. Like they're like, and I'm like, they can do that, and yes, they can. They're incredibly intelligent animals. They have their own culture as well and languages too. So like, if you get like a killer whale from Antarctica and place it in like Norway or something, they wouldn't understand each other. First of all, and second of all, they'll be eating different things, and you can kind of tell by their teeth again, like how worn down they are. Like some of them like hard shell things, I think. Some of them like fatty like mammals and stuff like that. And yeah, you can tell by like their teeth, yeah, what they eat and such. It's incredibly fascinating. But another interesting fact is that dolphins also have the same thing, but like I don't like dolphins. They're pretty cute, but like they're pretty evil at the same time. Oh god. I wanna try talking through the glove as well. Maybe that sounds nice. Did you know my phone rang? Oopsie daisies. And did you know that what was it, humans, right? There was a study that showed that like castrated Koreans lived 19 years longer than their non-castrated partners. So you know that one guy, his name was like Brian Johnson, I think. Yeah, Brian Johnson. Right? He's like, oh, I want to live forever, right? I want to live a long time. Well, just cut off your balls, bro. Like, unironically, being castrated is like really good for your longevity. I think it's because like testosterone is like slightly toxic to your body. But like, I'm not gonna do that. I like my balls. Also, some other things like that are pretty interesting is like okay, look, this is topical like sexual economics, but I don't really want to get into it because like it's kind of like it's like a touchy subject for a lot of people, where it's like basically the ability of like two straight people, like a girl and a guy, to find a partner. And like we learned that like ever since like women's rights and everything, it's been like a kind of roller coaster. Because you know how like everyone's saying no one's having enough kids, the population's gonna collapse and such. That's because of like sexual economics and like the ability of people to find love and like attraction and such. Yeah, it's very controversial, I guess. It's very uncomfortable, like in the tutorial, with asking questions like, oh, what do you think about that? And then it's like me and like one other girl raising their hands at a class of like 30 people, and it's only me and her answering everything. Everyone else is just like silently like watching. Yeah, but yeah, it's like the ability for women to like to have jobs and like that are well paying and like equality and such is okay, like ignore my YouTube banner, but like like that whole thing has kind of put a spanner in the works for the sustainability of society, because like especially in like places like Japan and Korea, where it's like really Japan, Korea, and China, where it's very, very bad. Yeah, like the women there don't want kids at all. 2 kids or something like that. I'm not good with math, but yeah, it's a pretty controversial topic, but it's like a factual stuff. So like you can't just ignore it. You gotta like confront it, and like it's kind of weird because like you can't just like take away women's rights. It's like what the hell, bro? It's like you have to give it. It's like it's a given, right? It's like especially nowadays. It's like we can't just like you can't blame the woman. You can't. It's like they have the free. They should have the right to choose. But like in a logical cult setting, it's kind of like our Korea is gonna collapse and like there'll be like what two young people per old person or something like that. That's really bad. But like at the same, that's why it's such a hard like topic, right? It's like it's very touchy to a lot of people, and I agree. That's why I don't want to get too much into it anymore. And yeah, that's about it, I guess, for that topic. And now we're gonna move on to the next bone here. This is a lot smaller and surprisingly incredibly fragile. Have a good look at that. That thing is, yeah, big eyes, That's a good tip. And you can tell by the teeth it's a carnivore. Remember the wedge-shaped teeth? Those are characteristic of carnivores. Herbivores have like flatter, crushing kind of teeth where it's like grinding like that. That's why they chew like a cat, like cows chew like that, I guess. But I'll give you a good second to guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that was a cat. But getting that out of the way, I want to talk about something pretty cool. Did you know like humans, right? They like let's say you're a 75-kilogram man, right? And you burn like 85 kilos of ATP every single day. ATP is like your body's like of unit of like energy. So like if you want to think or if you want to like move your arm, your body uses ATP to do that. And yeah, that's it. But like your body uses more than your bodily weight worth of ATP every single day. You gotta think to yourself, the body is incredibly efficient to do that, right? Which it is. Pardon me. But also, like you also really gotta like think about like, oh, life is so old. They have like so many like millions and billions of years to figure this stuff out, and they really figured it out. Interesting fact about sea sponges though. Sea sponges, what you can do is like cut them up and crush them around. You can like literally like crush them completely, and if you put them in water together, they will like kind of reassemble with one another, just like the SpongeBob does. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that is incredibly cool. And yeah, and there's a project going on at my university actually called Operation Poseidina, which is like a type of kelp, where like yeah, Operation Poseidina, which is a type of kelp found in like New South Wales, and they're like trying to it's like a community thing where they get people to like get this kind of kelp because it's getting kind of endangered. Kelp. And they're like trying to replant it, and it's like, well, I think 70% or 60 or 50% survival rate, which is pretty good. And finally, there was like another one called Operation Living Seawall, where it's like they planting these like was a little bit about the immune system. There was back then we didn't know exactly what autoimmunity was. Like, we didn't understand how it works, right? And then there was a woman called Polly Metzinger, an American immunologist, who came in and said, "Oh, hey, the immune system is attacking the body, right?" Because, like, how do you explain it, right? Like, and then everyone else was like, "No, it can't be like that. It can't be like that." And she was saying, "No, look, it's like your body, it attacks itself, because that's what autoimmunity is, right? Because that's when your body starts to attack itself." And yeah, that's about that. But it's and then she was like, kept on insisting, and eventually she was found to be right, because yeah, she was correct. But the reason why was like they didn't take her seriously. It was like, I'm not sure if it was because she was a woman, but because like she had no credentials or anything. She was just like no PhD, nothing. I think she had a bachelor. I'm not too sure. But she basically she was right, and then everyone's just losing their minds. And the other thing is that she was like a Playboy bunny. So, like, you know, all these older people, like older men, they dedicate their lives to like this kind of work. And then here comes some random Playboy bunny, just comes in and she's like, "Hey, you're all wrong. This is what's going on." And she was correct, and that's cool. That was also interesting facts actually about, like, there's a study. Actually, you know what? I'll tell it in a second. Like, let me just get out the last big bone. This is the biggest, the most robust, and the most like cool one, like, in my opinion. And technically speaking, there's like 2 correct answers for this thing. There's still a bunch of like dust from the desert, so pardon me. This thing, it's very robust, very strong. It's tell by the teeth, right? It's not as like pronounced wedges, so it's more omnivorous, I guess. Actually, no, not really. What am I saying? No, I'm wrong. Don't take that. Okay. I'm a bad biologist. But like, look at that thing. That's a real bone. And I'll give you like 5 seconds to think about it. Oops, I'm just gonna move that out the way so I can lie down again. But anyways, yeah. That was technically a dingo. But the thing is about the dingo is that they're not technically a separate species. They're just a dog. A dingo is like literally a dog, technically. I think it's pretty debated about their classification, but like, they're like lumped in with the dog. What the dog doing? Exactly. That's technically a dingo, but also a dog. Pretty cool. I have also all the backs and stuff. There's like vertebra, I think a couple of ribs, and like there's a kangaroo bone in there as well. I think it's like the forearm. It's very cool. And I'll tell you one more quick little life update about me actually. I might get an internship to the museum where I get to like dissect birds and like prepare them for other people and like to check their DNA and such. Very cool. I'm very excited for like all that kind of stuff because I'm a man of science and art. I'm a very artistic and scientific person. It's my passion in life. It's like actually, interesting story. I have actually contributed to science. There was a interesting, but like not autopsy, how was it? Dissection of like a specific kind of shark called a dogfish. Technically, it was supposed to be a dogfish, but then when we're dissecting it, right? Most people, the shark brain was like pretty much the same as a diagram, right? But our one had a very specific difference, which are the olfactory bulbs and tracts were very, very different, and like the cerebrum was like also different. By the way, an olfactory bulb is like the part of the brain that like handles smells and such, while the tract is just like the connection point between the cerebrum and the bulb. For our shark specifically, it had no tract at all, and the bulbs were massive, like huge, like 10 times bigger than they should be. And we thought, oh, maybe it's a new species, maybe. And the professor grabbed it. He was like, wow, this is cool, we're gonna pickle it, and we're gonna preserve it for everyone else to see. And then, what happened after that was they pickled it, of course. And they later updated me saying, oh, this wasn't even like in the same group as like dogfish. They're not even related. They're technically I think a dogfish is a gallimiorph. Well, the fish we got was a squaliamorph or something like that. And the method you can use to like tell is like the presence of an anal fin. Squaliamorphs have them, while gallimiorphs don't. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, maybe I'm getting them inverted, but like it's one or the other. Yeah, pretty cool, right? There was also like a very interesting study where interesting, as in like morbidly interesting, where it's like they were testing like boosting the immune system. You guys know like Quartzergast, right? Quartzergast, it's like that German like education channel. Yeah. I bought their book called about the immune system, called Immunity by Philip Dedimer, and I read it. And like around the end, right, there was a section where they were talking about like boosting the immune system and why that's a bad idea. So, and there was a specific segment like about a study where they had like a specific protein that boosts like us T cell function, and they applied it to like I think baboons or like macaques or something, and it worked pretty good. Like it worked, right? It did what it was told. It was boosting the function. But the problem, and then the thing was that they tried to do it in humans next. But they reduced the dose by 500 times. And they didn't expect anything to happen. But what did happen was, within minutes, the patients experienced multi-organ failure. I think it was like the liver, the kidneys, and like something else just all failed. And they all had to go to the hospital, and thankfully no one died. But the thing was, they had to get like amputations and such. So like it was not a pleasant like ride for anyone. Yeah, that's why you don't mess with the immune system. It's like a very fine balance between everything, and if you dip it too much to the one side, and the whole thing goes out of whack, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna die now. Yeah, you don't want to mess with the immune system, like at all. If you like live healthfully, like moderately healthfully, like if you eat like a vegetable once a week or something. Okay, don't take me out of context. Maybe that's not true, but still, like if you eat like relatively well, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff at all. But yeah, let me think. Is there like any more biology facts I can tell you? Other cute animals. Oh yeah, Greenland sharks. They're not cute. They're pretty ugly. But Greenland sharks are like the longest living vertebrates of all time. All that we know of. They live for like a couple 100 years, and they reach like sexual maturity at like 150. Imagine that puberty. Like their puberty lasts like a century. Isn't that crazy? scavengers where they pretty much they eat anything they can find. But they've been known to hunt like seals and occasionally polar bears. The remains of one of them found in his stomach, I think, which is pretty crazy. And like to give it like some context, this shark is pretty big. I think it's like the same length or a bit longer than a great white, but it's not as like bulky, you know, it's pretty slender. And they're completely they're pretty much blind, right? Because there's a parasite that affects like 90% of them. Right, it just like attaches to their eyes and they can't see anything at all. And they're like, oh, I'm blind. And like the thing is, their teeth are tiny. They're like so small. And the other thing is, they're incredibly slow. They're like literally like you can walk faster than you can swim. That's how slow it is. Their meat is like poisonous, so like nothing eats them besides us humans, because we're like messages and like try to find ways to eat whatever. And I'm like, bruh, it's like, bruh. They're my favorite sharks. I also like cookie cutters, and I like what was it? Yeah, cookie cutters. I'll just do this for a little bit, I guess. Yeah. I think another interesting animal are like anglerfish. And by the way, interesting fun fact about anglerfish. All the ones you ever see are female. Yeah. Anglerfish. Okay, you know why? Sorry about that, but you know why? Because anglerfish, the males, what they do is they swim around when they're like a lot small, they're like that big or whatever. And what they do is they swim around looking for a female. And once they find one, they fuse into their body like a parasite. And like literally like their nervous system, their brain, and everything decays. And they basically fuse into one being. And whenever the female wants to have kids or something, the little gonad just spurts out a little bit of, fun time juices. Yeah, that's what they do. Weird animals, alright. Also, there's also like cheetahs. Did you know cheetahs are basically all inbred? Cheetahs are like basically genetically identical. Like not really, like not exactly, but like 50% I think. Like in humans, if you want to have an organ transplant, you need to be very careful matching I think the major histocompatibility complex with another person, which is basically impossible unless you're like twins. And but with cheetahs, it doesn't matter. Like you can get any cheetah, like transfer an organ, it'll be fine. That's how inbred they are. And to give some reference, like a brother and a sister have like very different major histocompatibility complexes as well. They're incredibly different and varied. Like it's impossible. I think it's pretty much impossible to get two of the same set of twins. So, yeah. And I'm thinking, actually, I'm sorry. I had a very like long couple of months. Like I was very busy with stuff, and it's nice to just slow down a little bit and like, talk about whatever. Yeah, I love being a scientist. Very fun, and you meet some interesting people. In a good way and a bad way. I can't even say the word. There was like a guy, I think I mentioned in my first video actually as well. And then like I was speaking to my friend, and then he mentioned, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, to some like German loving group. Well, not German loving, more like a specific subset of German ideology loving people. And they are lunatics. Like genuinely lunatics. Yeah. And I've been thinking, how do you even go down that rabbit hole to begin with? And it's kind of worrying because like I know like a few people are kind of going down that path, and it's kind of worrying for me because like I'm also ethnic minority. I'm not gonna say off where yet, maybe in the future I'll tell you, but I'm not white. I know. You can't tell, right? By like the skin. Why did I put there? But yeah, I'm not a white person. Sorry, my head hurts. Thinking too much about other stuff at the same time is not good. It's like a fun of frying my brain. I think science is incredible. That's why I love it so much. I think in the end, okay, I don't know where I'm going after that, but like science is beautiful. I saw this like video about math being beautiful, and it was very beautiful. Math is a wonderful thing, but I suck at it. But you know, I have a lot of respect for the people that can do it, because to me that stuff is like undecipherable. It's all undecipherable to me. And I don't really know how to start learning to begin with. Yeah. Science. It's, I think also science is such an important part of society that everyone should appreciate. Like literally, we should all appreciate everything. But they don't get paid that well, to be honest. They don't get paid that well. That's a shame. They should really be paying the people that progress society a lot more. clothes that are like with nothing in reality, but like that look shiny and cool. I don't collect rocks, but you know. I don't know what's life. I don't know what like life's gonna be in the future. There's like all the uncertainty. But I just hope it's not too bad. I might stay for a little bit longer because it's actually really fun. A lot of good fun today. If you like, please like and subscribe because I want to get some fat cash, gang. You feel me? This is not like I'm not asking you for anything again. I need that. I need my money, bro. And now I'm gonna act like a pretentious wanker in demand for money, but like I'm not being serious. Like it's fine. I don't care. It's like there's like what a lol cow is. Like there's like people that like they get bullied and picked on by the internet trolls, I guess. And I'm just thinking that's like a weird existence. But there was one called Dark Side Film, and like all he does is like beg his like fans for money, and all he does with the money is like waste it all on like some like mobile WWE game. And I'm like, if I was in your shoe, I would be like making out with all my fans. I'm kidding. It's just like, it's just the fact that like, it's such a privilege to have like that position. You know, it's like, you get paid to play video games, bro. You get paid to play video games. Like, you should be happy that you're making any money. Like, I don't make money off this. But I don't make any money. I'm just doing it for love of the game for now. And that's why, like, I was just kidding. I don't care. It's fine. But much appreciated if you do. Yeah. Also, to the people subscribed already, thank you very much. Thank you. We are one step closer to my plans for world domination. I'm the mad scientist, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Femboy, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Barry the platypus. We meet again. Okay, like this whole thing got derailed, but that's fine. The thing is, like, I would listen to it myself now, but like the issue is when I hear myself speak at the same time as speaking, like it kind of like messes up my brain focus, and I can't focus on what I want to say. I'm just like a yapster. I like to talk a lot. Okay, you guys had enough. Okay, that's enough. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you liked the video. Really, thank you for watching, if you're still here. But, oops, sorry. But, yeah, I'll let you guys